Hello, my name is Margaret, and I'm co-chair of the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association. You should have just heard an announcement that we are recording this meeting. To participate in this meeting, you are not required to keep on your camera, have your name be displayed, or have your voice recorded. You may participate in the way you are most comfortable. Although this meeting is going to be hosted on YouTube, it is not searchable on YouTube, but it can be found on our website, www.jeffreyspoint.org. We're going to have the rest of the board introduce themselves, and then our board member, Aubrey Hartnett, has very nicely agreed to do a welcome in Spanish to help encourage our multilingual neighbors to join us. So again, I'm Margaret Farmer, and I'm going to pass it on to Tyler.
Hey everyone, I'm Tyler Lane. I am the co-chair.
I'm Andrew Pike. I'm the treasurer.
Okay, Aubrey?
Hi everyone, I'm Aubrey y bienvenidos a todos. Gracias por venir a nuestra reunión mensual de JPNA y queremos que sepamos todos que está grabado esta reunión. No hace falta que tenga el nombre, que tenga la imagen, que tenga su voz, pero les invitamos a todos que participen como quieran en esta reunión y gracias por estar aquí.
Thank you so much, Aubrey. And we'd
I'm
like to
vice chair, sorry. Forgot to say the vice chair.
Sorry about that. And just to let people know, we have set things up so that closed captioning is available, and it is available in the language of your choice. So we certainly welcome all friends and neighbors to join us for every meeting of the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association. A couple of announcements this evening. On February 21st at 10 a.m., Boston City Councilor Gabriella Coletta will be having a coffee at Angela's Cafe in Eagle Hill. All are welcome and encouraged to meet with her. This is a chance to speak with the counselor in person and talk about your concerns. So we highly encourage that. Also, we'd like to say a thank you to several neighbors who have been helping shovel out the community. We had several unnamed volunteers who shoveled out the Webster side of Brophy Park. One evening, we posted that picture online, and Sam McGillis, who is a resident of Webster Street, has been assisting in shoveling out people since the major storm as well. So thank you to all of them. As an FYI, NOAA, Neighborhood of Affordable Housing Program, will be placing an air pollution monitoring device at the Golden Stairs Terrace Park. It will be in place for approximately 2 years. It will have a label and a sign on it. It will be attached to one of the fences. And the purpose of this is to assist NOAA with better understanding local air quality patterns and to bring meaningful information and resources to East Boston residents. As an FYI, we will ask them to present at a future meeting to better understand what they have learned. I am being sorry, Ira, can you go in the other room, please? Also, we did want to make an announcement that recently the JPNA Facebook page has seen an increase in language that is both derogatory and inflammatory. And we've had people that are either... Ira, you need to go in the other room. Tyler, I'm going to ask you to continue the announcements okay, I guess he's running away. But we have seen an increase on our Facebook page of language that is both derogatory and inflammatory. And we are concerned because the purpose of the Facebook page is meant to connect residents, inform and educate people about local events, actions, and issues. We do not expect people to agree on everything or even anything if that's the case. However, we do expect that all conversations remain respectful of everyone on all sides. Because of this, the JPNA came to a very difficult decision. There was a lot of discussion about this because we all believe in free speech and we all believe people have the right to discuss with one another. At the same time, if people don't feel safe, they're not going, that limits their ability to express themselves. So after a great deal of discussion, we took the regrettable action of limiting some words that we deem to be inflammatory and derogatory, pardon me. We did not want to do this, and we kept the list as short as we could, but while we felt that it would address the issue. I want to remind everyone that it is volunteers who monitor the page. If we were a professional business and had people who could monitor the page on a full-time basis, we I don't know that we would have taken that, but as volunteers who don't have the ability to monitor it constantly, we felt that this was the best way to address this. And again, there was a lot of discussion, and this was a very regrettable action, but we want to make sure that everyone feels the ability to interact. And this is not meant to, the JPNA Facebook page is not meant to be a political page. There's lots of places where you can engage in political discussions, and we highly encourage it. And if discussions could stay reasonable, we would not have done this, but it's very regrettable, but we felt we had to.
Sorry,
Uh,
Margaret, I just wanted to interrupt for just 1 second, just to clarify. So we haven't limited those words. So basically what has happened is we've always had this with certain words, but we've added more. So the system will automatically give us an alert if someone uses one of those words. And they're not always used in a bad way. Some of them can there's no option of it being bad or not, and some of them can be used in normal conversation, but sometimes can start a conversation that is not appropriate for our Facebook page. So I would recommend that people who do use our Facebook page, if you see something that you feel violates our rules, please report it, because that does definitely help, because the words that we have listed in there don't always catch everything, and we try and do our best as well to go through those items, but not everything can be caught by us. So we do appreciate everyone's assistance in reporting things, and really please try and only report things that you feel violate the rules, not maybe something that you just don't like. But also one other correction. Aubrey did mention that Counselor Coletta's coffee hour is at Eagle Hill Cafe at 65 Meridian Street, not at Angela's. So Eagle Hill Cafe. Just wanted to correct that. Sorry, go ahead.
My apologies. I will change that in the notes. Eagle Hill Cafe. Thank you very much, Andrew. And that was an excellent point. There have always been some words, mostly foul language, that have not been allowed, but we've added several words to that list. So thank you for clarifying. Which now is an excellent time to point out that we have placed on our that the JPNA placed on our Facebook page a survey looking for some feedback as we are doing planning for the coming calendar year. So we will drop that link in the chat, and people are welcome to fill that out and give us some ideas of what you're looking to see from us in the coming year. We do have, after we put out the agenda, we did hear from the Boston Harbor Shipyard and Marina that they have an update. So they unfortunately were not listed on the full agenda, but we did want to include them. So we are going to have them present now as part of our announcements. I understand that it's early in the meeting, but we encourage people to stay for the entire thing. With that, I am going to call on Marshall Greenland, and we will be bringing up the slides. So, Tyler, do you have them?
Yep. Give me a sec.
Excellent.
No, just do Zoom right. Do we have Marshall?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hey, bud. How are you? Hold on. Let me share
I'm doing
this.
well, thank you.
It's always, it takes me a hot second. There you go. All right. Okay. Why is that not sharing? Sorry, my bad. Technical difficulties. It's telling me I'm trying to screen share on a different desktop, which is odd considering I'm on a laptop. So I'm not really sure how that's technically possible. But can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's the name of an association. All right. Hold on a sec. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. Marshall, do you want to tell us what?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Why don't you start talking, and we'll have the slides catch up.
Absolutely. So thank you for having us. We just wanted to give a couple updates on some of our recent activities and upcoming activities. And so the agenda topics we'll be covering, go to next slide, Tyler. want to highlight some work we did recently with the new dry dock, and as well as a grant award that was awarded to the shipyard for some pier repairs, and then talk about upcoming construction of the travel lift piers. Next slide, please. Okay, so for the MBTA barge launch, so this, we just wanted to highlight this because it was an impressive operation that got a lot of attention around the harbor, and Blue Atlantic Fabricators had fabricated two new MBTA barges, which are going to be installed for the new Hingham Ferry Terminal, about 115-foot long barges that they had built in their fabrication shops there, and they needed to get them in the water. So they were too large to launch with a crane. So we got a couple different engineers together, between the dry dock and the and Blue Atlantic and the owner of the barges, the MBTA. And what we did was we rolled them out of the Blue Atlantic shop, and then we on a large hydraulic trailer, and which you can see in the top left picture. And we actually we pulled the floating dry dock straight up to the head wall and walked these barges, rolled these barges onto the floating dry dock. We then used tugboats to pull the dry dock out into the harbor, where we sank the dry dock and then had another tug pull the barge away. We repeated that a second day, and those barges were then transported to Hingham for the new ferry terminal. Those are two of three barges that are going to that terminal. So the third one is in production now, and we'll be repeating that operation when it's done. So it was a great operation. We wanted to highlight it because we thought it was just a good example of a lot of the local work being done in the harbor to help promote a lot of local and state initiatives like growing the MBTA service, improving the MBTA service. It was much needed in that ferry terminal, and we hope that that the MBTA will continue to expand and invest in a lot of their terminals to improve that service on the harbor. Next slide. So for the Seaport Economic Council, we had submitted a grant application for repairs to Pier 1, which is the Marina Pier. We were awarded $2.4 million with a $800,000 match. So we'll be putting that $3.2 million into rehabilitation of Pier 1. Next slide. Sure, many of you are familiar with the pier as it's part of the public access in the shipyard. These are some existing conditions. Anyone who frequents this pier, maybe have seen over the years. We generally do some maintenance in the spring. The pier just it's the deck and underside are so old that just every winter it gets really beat up. So we always are trying to stay ahead of that. The bottom left is just an example of where we asphalted some of the deck that was beyond repair for concrete patches. But this has just been an annual thing that we do every spring to try and at least maintain the conditions so that they're safe and walkable. Next slide. So these are some conceptual ideas of what we hope to bring this pier to. So we really envision this being a nice part of the Boston Harbor Walk. It's been a goal of ours for some years now. So this is early stages concepts. Really what the grant money largely is going to help us do is make repairs to the piers so that we can invest in some of these long-term improvements on the top side and make it a nice, desirable harbor walk for everyone who uses it. Next slide, please.
Marshall, I have a quick question about that, if you don't mind me. I
Yeah.
apologize for interrupting. Is the grant money specifically tied to rehabilitating this specific pier, or is it granted to the shipyard sort of as a whole, and you guys have just kind of shoehorned it to this pier?
It's a good question. The which I may not have the exact answer to.
Oh, it's okay. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Well, the application was specific to the pier. So
Got it.
So I assume it's restricted to the pier,
Gotcha.
but that's what the application was for. So
Gotcha. Thanks.
yeah. So travel lift piers, we've brought this to a couple different groups over the past year, and we just wanted to notify JPNA that we are scheduled to begin construction at the beginning of March. So these that's planned to be about a 4-month project. So starting in March, completing at the beginning of June. We can go so I'll back up. This is the project area next to Pier 3, a little bit to the east of the existing travel lift piers. We'll go next slide. Existing conditions. So this is where we're going to build the new piers. Go next slide. And this is just a schematic of what the piers are going to be. So this is what we'll be building over 4 months. It's going to include about 160 feet of sheet pile along some of the existing and older head wall running east, west, and north, south. So we'll have a lot of infrastructure improvements in addition to the piers. And then we'll be building 120-foot to 120-foot long piers, as well as a staging dock to the east of the piers. So this will be to support our new travel lift. As I mentioned, we expect that'll be about 4 months, starting at the beginning of March. So with that, we'll open it up to any questions that anybody may have.
So, Marshall, this isn't, with respect to the travel lift and things like that, this is still the same plans. It's just starting next month.
Correct.
I mean,
Yeah, we just
nothing
wanted
materially different than, yeah.
Yeah, nothing's changed there. So we just, since the past presentations, we've just been getting through permitting. So we've done that now, and we're preparing to begin. So this was just to notify everyone
How will this
of the
change
start of
the
construction.
traffic? Oh, I have a quick question. The installation of the travel lifts, how will that affect the boat traffic coming in and out of the shipyard?
So this for the vessel traffic shouldn't have. Well, are you asking about during construction or operationally after construction?
Like once they're installed, like, I mean, clearly you're installing it for a reason because you wish to do something.
Right.
Like, is this going to increase the overall number of boats that are stored in the shipyard? Is this going to affect the size of the boats that are stored in the shipyard, but the number will remain the same? Like, what is the intended or the hoped for impact?
Yes. So the change will be that we'll be able to haul larger boats than we do now. And I guess just in theory, if you're hauling larger boats, numerically that, because we have the same amount of space, would be less vessels, just of larger size. One of our goals with this machine is to be able to service some of a large number of the commercial vessels in the harbor that currently don't have a place to haul out because there isn't a lift large enough. So it's trying to target that 50 to 80 ton vessel range, which in Boston Harbor is mostly commercial. And the idea is that we'll be doing similar work as we do in the dry dock right now. With commercial vessels specifically, they need to get hauled out, depending on the type of vessel, annually or biannually for Coast Guard inspections. So it's a constant need just to come out of the water, get the Coast Guard down, do inspections, and make any repairs that come up from those inspections.
Okay, thank you. Andrew, do you see other questions in the chat?
There is one comment. Sorry, it's covered by a thing. The proposed Harbor Walk accent graphic may cause vertigo for those with that particular sensitivity. Only comment.
Is one of these? I'm assuming they're referencing
Noted.
perhaps.
I assume maybe the wavy,
Yeah, I think
Oh,
wavy
yeah, that
accent.
one.
We will keep that in mind. Yeah, and these are conceptual ideas. So, yeah, nothing firm there on that. So,
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Marshall, as always, we would ask you to put your contact information in the chat so that if people have additional questions or requested clarifications, they have the ability to get in touch with you. And of course, we will share that out to everyone.
great. I will. Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Marshall.
Marshall.
We appreciate the absolutely. So checking my handy dandy thing right now. Next up, we will move away from announcements, and I believe I saw Officer Santolo, who is here this evening, and so we will ask for an update from our local police department.
Good evening, anyone.
Sorry.
Hello? Yeah. Good evening. Joining me this evening is Sergeant Santolo and Captain Pickerton. It's been extremely quiet in the Jeffreys Point area. I'm sure it's due from the weather conditions, but we'll update you guys on a very few incidents that took place in the Maverick area and the nearby vicinity. On 365 Sumner Street, we have a stolen package. Okay. On January 9th, we had a call for an alarm at 2 Meridian Street, and that's the Santander Bank. While the officers were en route to respond to the alarm, they were informed by a dispatcher that the property in question, the suspect had made his way into the vault. So they entered the bank, and they made an apprehension. The suspect was arrested, and he was in the vault trying to gain entrance. And during the interview, he stated that he shook the front doors and he was able to get into the front doors. That he used his MBTA Charlie card and he managed to get into the secondary doors. So he says, "Well, it's my lucky day." He made his way to the vault, and that's when he was caught. We have on January 30th. This is after the storm. It's a vandalism report. Officers responded to 249 Everett for vandalism, and the victim reports that she moved someone's space saver, and then the next morning her vehicle had been vandalized with eggs. So we all know how people feel about that. But just so you know, I mean, the city gives you a little leeway. It's only I believe 72 hours. After that, you can remove that, and no one should be vandalizing your vehicles. So if that does happen, please report it to us. We have a scam that took place on January 30th. This is a walk-in. The victim walks into the police station, reports that they apply for a customer service remote job through Facebook Marketplace, and during the hiring process, he was asked to provide his personal information, which he did, and also was requested to send $650 in good faith. And after he sent those the money, the website was taken down. So just be extremely careful because the scams uh, they're always there. We have a few stolen packages out of 44 Border Street, and this is just an informative uh, from from reports that from that if we get another snowstorm, be very vigilant of the snow removal signs because the Department of Public Works goes around and puts the signs on the snow mountains. And in order to get those, you have to move the vehicles, and we were forced to tow 12 vehicles. And so just be very vigilant. Hopefully, the winter's somewhat over with, and uh, and that's it. That's all I have for now. Any questions you may have?
Okay. Um, so we'll see if something comes through to the chat. It's good to hear that things are very quiet. Um, a quick reminder to everyone that you still need to keep your doors locked. People will still be walking down the street and trying door handles and rifling through cars upon occasion. So please continue to be vigilant about that. Um, Andrew, do we see anything coming through on the chat?
Nothing in the chat.
Okay. Um, and please keep us apprised if additional events or opportunities to get out in this cold weather come up locally. I know that the police sometimes sponsor events and programs. So,
Sure.
Hi, Margaret. Sergeant Satola here. Hi, everybody. I just want to remind everybody that even though you shoveled out a space, you don't own that space, unfortunately. And if someone does park in that space, there's cameras everywhere. It's against the law to slash tires, to vandalize cars with keys and stuff. Kind of is what it is. I know it's. Listen, I grew up in the city. You shovel that spot, you should have it. But technically, you don't own that spot. And it happened a few times on Maverick Street that we had to put extra cars down there. So just keep that in mind, please.
okay, sorry, just putting that in the notes. And just a reminder, actually a quick clarification. How long after storms should people keep an eye out for the no parking signs that the DPW is coming out to remove those snow drifts? Like, is that something that happens like 48 hours later? I mean, I see Roberto Gomez has his hands up. So maybe
Yeah.
that's
Hi everyone. I just two things. I do want Sergeant Stoll to answer that question, but I just want to say it's been very difficult for everyone to go through the situation with parking. I understand it's causing a lot of issues. We are here and we've gotten so many calls. I know from Jeffrey's point, there's been vandalism and other things happening. I do want to say that Sergeant and I did connect, and we are definitely trying to figure out, how to better, assist the community and also be present for, other situations when they should arise in the future. So thank you for that.
thank you.
So, Margaret, on the other question, it would depend on obviously the main streets where buses and ambulances and fire trucks need to make a turn. So it's kind of up in the air. They play it by they drive around, and the most needed place will get the first snow removal. So you just got to keep looking, be very vigilant.
Okay. And I see that Stefan Marin has his hand up, who is with City Councilor Gabriela Coletto's office. So I'm gonna ask him to comment on this as well. Or did he put his hand down? I think he might have put his hand down. Stefan, did you want to say something on behalf of the city councilor?
It looks like he got disconnected because he's no longer in the.
Okay. I was gonna say I thought I saw him.
Yeah, you did. You're right. You're
Okay. Well, if he returns, we will give him the opportunity to comment. Okay, that is very helpful. Do we see anything else reflected in the chat? If not, we will thank our representatives of our local A7 police force for stopping by this evening and wish them well.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you. Good evening.
Have a nice night. And then next on our list is City Councilor Liaison Carlos Garcia. I did
One
not.
second,
Wasn't able to make
Margaret. I'm
it.
sorry. Sorry. Stefan just rejoined. I just wanted to let you know. Stefan,
And also,
did you want
Carlos
to
is
speak?
not here.
Yes, I apologize. I had a little bit of a technical difficulty as soon as I raised my hand, but I just wanted to piggyback off of what Roberto said, and also answer your question about how long it should take before we expect space savers to be taken. Um, uh, the BPD has been extremely responsive throughout, all of the vandalism issues. So I just want to thank Sergeant Santolo for all his help with sending extra patrols whenever we think we have an issue. Um, but besides that, for Public Works right now, and I want to thank Roberto for stepping in. This is kind of a difficult time right now for them in terms of snow removal. So their focus right now really is on that. They are planning an operation to remove all of the space savers, but right now that is taking a backseat to snow removal, considering all of the corners that do need to be cleared at the moment. Right now, we can report that we've been in communication with ambulances, with the health center, ambulance agencies, private contractors, as well as the fire department to make sure that there are no issues with them turning any corners, to make sure that they report to us if they do find that type of issue. So we've made sure that that's something that we're in communication about. But if anyone sees something, please contact Carlos or I. Carlos has a little bit more of a direct contact with some of the uh, executive agencies under the mayor that are taking some of the actions. But if you contact the counselor's office, we will 100% be responsive, and we'll try to address your concern as quickly as possible.
Stefan, is there a reason why Capital Waste is not removing them like they're supposed to?
Sorry, you said capital waste?
Yes, because always in the past it's been Capital Waste when they do their regular trash pickup is supposed to be removing space savers.
Yeah, yes, as regular trash pickup. Yeah,
And
100%.
they haven't been doing that. That's the reason why I'm asking.
Yeah, I think that that is something that the counselor has been kind of concerned about. I'm going to be honest with you. That's something that she's brought up, that they are planning their own operation, but this should be part of regular trash pickup, and that was my assumption as well. Um, I will bring that up for sure and we have a team meeting tomorrow, so I'll bring that up. But
Yeah,
I
because public works should definitely be focusing on snow removal. I agree with what you said, but it's just concerning that every year they say Capital Waste is going to do it, and every year they don't. So it's a little frustrating, and as a relatively long time resident in this neighborhood, it's concerning to not hear that come up that they're going to be doing it. So.
Yeah, that is definitely something that has come a message that has come from the mayor's office, is that that will be something that comes out of regular trash removal. The fact that that hasn't happened in the neighborhood is this is the first time I am hearing of that. I will 100% bring that up to
Yeah,
our
I doubt that it's the first time Counselor Coletta has heard about it. So that's the reason why I wanted to bring it up to you.
I can assure you that anything that comes through East Boston, and anything that has to do with East Boston will come through me in the office. This is the first time we've heard that space savers are not being part of regular trash collection. Definitely not the first time that we're hearing that the city is, I think your concern in general that the space savers haven't been picked up is definitely echoed. If that's what you mean, that capital waste is, neglecting on their responsibility to do that, and if they have the responsibility to do that, I will investigate on that, and I'll figure out that case for you for sure.
Okay. And I'm sorry, just before I forget, and before Sergeant Santolo and Officer Alvarez leave, Aubrey did want to mention that the wanted to thank them for the free skating lessons at the rink that they've been doing. So that's been a great thing for the community and is very much appreciated. So she wanted to make sure that was mentioned.
So Andrew,
Not something that I've
no,
taken part in, but
but thank you for bringing that up. I should have mentioned that. What a great space. I mean, they did a really good job down there. It's been really cold as the
yeah.
the cold weather starts to go away. They still have freezing. I don't know what they're called under the ice, so you'll be able to skate right up. I'm assuming until the warm weather comes, and it really is a fun time. So if you get a chance, come down. We'll teach you how to skate, and we'll just have some good time.
When do you do that again?
So we do it Sunday mornings. We have first is at 8:30 starts the kids, and I think it's 9:45 starts the adults.
Okay, awesome. And then Roberto, did you want to speak again?
Yeah, just one quick comment, Andrew. Thank you for see my hand being raised. But yeah, no, I understand. I understand that this was very frustrating. It's my first neighborhood, as some people know on the call, was Jeffries Point. My now new neighborhood is Princeton Street in Eagle Hill. I showed about 4 cars that weren't mine. I was trying to help out. Please, please call. You should call us. You have my personal number, I think. Margaret, Andrew, a few people in this call. We are here to try to figure it out. We may not have had the best solution, and we understand frustrations, but I know for a fact that we are trying to exhaust everything in us to help out to figure this out. And maybe this is a point where you're right. We take what you're saying into practice and better implement it going forward. This is what these meetings are for. And I want to make sure that everybody in this call knows that I'm not just here to listen, but I want to make sure that you all are heard and we do better next time if that is what is needed.
Absolutely. That is a good reminder that if you are unable to shovel yourself out, there are a couple of community organizations that can assist you. There's a recovery organization on Eagle Hill that will send out volunteers for free to shovel you out if you need assistance. And certainly, if you have trouble exiting your home, you should call emergency services to make sure that they have the ability to access your home as well. A quick plug for the fire department who is not here. A quick reminder that in an emergency, they need to access all of the hydrants. And so if you are up for doing additional shoveling or want to help out or are worried that, in an emergency situation, you want to make sure that they can get to your house quickly, they always appreciate people shoveling out the hydrants as well. So thank you to everyone for covering this issue. I mean, this is the first time in multiple years we've had a major snowstorm here in Boston, so the snow muscles have been a little unused recently. I just want to check, is that the last of things in the chat, or I don't see any other additional hands raised?
I think we're good on chat, the end of the chat.
Okay. So although we did have on the agenda, next up was Rita Laura from Maverick Landing Community Services. She is running a little late from a training. So we are going to move forward to our voting issue this evening. The project is known as 7-9 Murray Court. Again, this will be a vote. This is being presented by the project attorney, Richard Lins Esquire. The property is owned by Brad Greenberg. And the description is the proposal is to erect an addition with a roof deck and change occupancy from 3 to 4 units. When the presentation is finished being gone through, we will review the process for voting. We will read that process. It has been a little while since we have done this. This meeting was previously presented at a planning and zoning meeting last month. And so it is here tonight again for a vote. So Richard, I will turn it over to you to present, and we will follow up at the end again with, as I said, instructions on voting. Thank you.
Thank you, Margaret, and to members of the JPNA. Good evening, everyone. For the record, my name is Richard Lins, business address at 245 Sumner Street here in East Boston. I represent Brad Greenberg, who's with us here this evening. Along with us is Chris Drew, who's our project architect. If I could just ask, I don't know if it's Tyler who's controlling it, maybe go to full screen on that, just a little easier to see.
Yeah, it's tough because it comes over as a PDF. So it's kind of tough
Okay,
with the Mac. I'll try to manage, but if I screw it
no
up,
worries.
bear with
Yeah.
me. Bear with me.
All
right. So well, yeah. See,
right. Are you using Adobe? Is it a PDF viewer?
yeah. I don't pay for Adobe, so I'm using the on my Mac the free PDF.
Got it. No problem.
Free
All right, yeah,
PDF
that's
view.
fine.
So
All right.
yeah.
We'll make do. Yes.
Yeah, my bad. I'm sorry.
Perfect.
Yep.
No worries. No, it works fine. All right. So just a quick overview of what the project is. This is a renovation. There's an existing owner-occupied, it's a 3.5-story building. There are 3 units currently. They're all condominiums, so they're all individually owned. We're proposing to modify that half-story up top, which is essentially adding a vertical addition, and then to change the legal occupancy of the building from 3 units to a total of 4 units. This will involve upgrades to life safety, and a proposed occupancy would continue to be home ownership. So that additional condominium or additional unit would be just an additional condominium in the building. The master deed for this condominium allows for this specific change. This was contemplated when the property was originally condoed way back many years ago, and the concept of adding an additional unit were vested in the rights of the 3rd unit owner, which is Mr. Greenberg. So that is the proposal overview. Let's jump to the next slide. We can try to walk through some of the information here. So this is just a quick overview. This is from the Boston Planning Department's webpage, shows the abstract and identifies the zoning district that we're located in. This is considered EBR3. That is the zoning designation as of the Plan East Boston adoption back in 2024 that controls all of the uses and dimensional regulations for this neighborhood. Next slide, please. We include this slide anytime we're near flood zones or within close proximity to flood zones. We always want to identify the extent of that. The orange overlay that you can see here is the 0.2% annual chance flood hazard. That is still considered flood zone X, so is not technically in a, as we commonly refer to as the flood zone. The flood zone is actually the blue area you can see towards the lower portion of your screen. So properties within the blue are absolutely required to maintain flood insurance. There are a number of restrictions that go along with anything by way of development. We're outside of that, but still in a somewhat very moderate increased area as compared to the areas that aren't covered by either the blue or the orange overlays. Next slide, please. So just a quick review of the zoning. We are proposing this as 4 units. Believe it or not, you can have up to 6 units of housing in the EBR3. That is not a forbidden use. It is regulated by lot width. So as you see, we jump down to lot width. Our existing lot width is not more than 55 feet, and therefore that is the only thing that would trigger a variance on the proposal for 4 units. If you have more than 55 feet, then you are eligible to go up to 6 units as a matter of right without seeking relief. In this instance, this is a pre-existing lot, so we are requesting the variance because we can't change the width of our lot. Our lot can only stay at its current width now. Everything else, pretty much, you'll see in the plans in a moment. You know, front yard for example, we don't change because the building doesn't change with respect to the front of the building. Our side yards don't change; those are pre-existing, so neither one of those require variance. For our rear yard, while we do show a distance of roughly 14.8 feet between the back of our building and the rear property line, we do have existing decks. We are going to reorient those a bit, and because we're making some modifications to the existing decks, including adding the upper level for that finished off half story, we do require relief for the rear yard. So I just wanted to point that out, that even though it would appear that we comply, it's the modification of the decks that will trigger some relief for the rear. Floor area ratio, we're proposing at 2.85. There's no longer a maximum FAR in the district, so therefore this would be eligible to have expansion of the floor area without requiring any zoning relief. The building right now is as I mentioned, 3.5 stories, 39.5 feet. This would be considered a full 4-story upon renovation, and we're slightly increasing the physical height, and we'll see that in a moment in the plans, up to 41.1. So it's a nominal increase in the overall physical height, but it still requires a variance because of the change. With respect to parking, there's already 3 units in the building. The zoning code says that when you have a pre-existing building with residential uses, you're only required to provide parking for any additional units you propose. So in this case, because it's only 1 unit, 1 parking space would be the requirement under the zoning code. However, if you see the site and you're familiar with the site, we occupy pretty much all of the entire site of our existing lot. And it would be virtually impossible to add parking to the site, even if we could create a curb cut condition or some type of access to the site, which doesn't presently exist. So we're going to request relief for that. Next slide, please. So just some bird's eye views, just so we can orient ourselves with the location. Right of the screen is Orleans Street. Murray Court runs parallel to Webster and to Marginal. And you can see the building where it's located here in this slide. Next slide, please. Just another view here. This is good because you can actually get a good look at the roof. As we talked about, that half story exists. So unless you're standing or looking at this from a bird's eye view, you don't necessarily see that increased height that exists over the 3rd level. If you look directly across the street, be screen right, you can see there's a 4-story building located directly across, which represents roughly the height of what we're proposing. We'd basically be in line with that proposed building across the street from us. Next slide, please. Just another view looking down. You can see a better view of Marty Court. You can see that 4-story building across the street. Next slide, please. And just a direct bird's eye view, just so we can see the physical layout of the building and the relationship of the building to other buildings around it. Next slide. So street view, our building is on the right-hand side as you're coming down Murray Court. Murray Court, I'm sure if anybody is familiar with it, is relatively narrow. Parking is somewhat limited on the street, and we would certainly be working with the city on a construction management plan for any approvals we receive in order to address the actual construction of this addition. Next slide, please. Just another view. Our building is on the left side, just so that we can understand the exact location here. Next slide, please. So here's our existing site plan. As you can see, our building, roughly around 29.5 feet in width, and you can see the lot as it extends back. There is a passageway towards the rear, and then you have those existing 3-story egress decks that are already on the building. And I talked a little bit about that in the zoning overview. There is a little bit of space between the deck and the rear property line, but the existing condition in the rear doesn't really change much, other than the addition on the 4th level. So next slide, please. We can probably go over these. These are just existing floor plates. We're not making any modifications to the basement or the 1st floor. Next slide, please. The 2nd floor does not have any modifications. 3rd floor has some modifications in order to get up to that 4th level. Next slide, please.
These plans, folks, are also available on our website under the projects folder. If you look under Murray Court, you can peruse these online as well.
Thank you. And then just showing our existing conditions, existing elevations. This is a good place to stop. The left side, you see the side. This is the left side elevation. You can see that increased height above the 3rd level, which is defined as attic space up to that ridge. As I said, is a little over 39 feet. Next slide, please. And the rear existing conditions, you can see those decks that we discussed. Next slide. And then this is the proposed condition. And as you can see here, we don't really make much change with respect to that footprint. We do propose a roof deck. The roof deck would be exclusive to the upper level only. So the new unit that's being proposed would have the access to the roof deck. That would be access from the rear of the property. We're not proposing an independent head house. This would be strictly access from those rear decks. But as you can see, we don't really change the configuration or the footprint of those decks. We don't come any closer to the rear property line than the present condition. Next slide, please. As I said, basement and first floor, we don't show any work. Next slide. Second floor, no work. The third level, there is some work because we have to deal with the stairwell to get up to the upper level, the top level that we're proposing. Next slide, please. So on the right side of the screen, you can see the extent of the addition. We keep the footprint of the building pretty much in line with the units that are below it. This is already existing space, just not habitable space currently because of that roof ridge and the height of the usable area above the third level. We would be, as I mentioned, squaring off that upper level to be consistent with the height from both front to back. There would no longer be a ridge. And then we would propose the roof deck above it. I will point out roof decks are allowed by conditional use permit. Because we are altering the roof line, we can request relief from the Board of Appeal, not a variance, conditional use only, to allow them to review this, and then the Boston Planning Department can make recommendations as to any design changes for this. But this meets all the setback requirements that is set forth in Article 53 for roof decks. Next slide, please. And this shows the elevations. You can see on the left side, we square that top level off rather than having that be sort of a half story with a ridge. You can see the decks off of the rear go all the way up to that fourth level and then allows for access up to the roof deck from the fourth level deck. Next slide, please. Just the rear elevation, again, showing those decks, and then with the addition of that fourth level, fourth floor deck, and then the stairwell that brings you up to the roof deck. One of the things I will point out is that you do see a parapet. The parapet will actually help shield and hide the roof deck itself. So as you can see from this image here, that stairwell comes up to a landing. The top railing of that landing is in line with what the parapet is. So if you can imagine where that line says roof deck, that's essentially where your feet would be. And the parapet just essentially hides a lot of that roof deck condition that's on that top level. Next slide, please. Okay, that's it. I'm sorry. I thought I had a few more. I'm happy to answer any questions. As I said, Chris Drew with 686 Architects is here with us in case there's any specific technical questions for the presentation.
And just for folks who are here who were not at the planning and zoning meeting last month where this was initially presented, there was a pretty good crowd at the P&Z meeting, a lot of abutters, and the response was extremely positive. So just wanted to share that feedback with the larger group here.
Okay. Can we turn off the slide so
Sure. Yeah, I just didn't know if we wanted to keep it up in case anybody had questions.
No, nothing in the chat.
Okay. Are there any direct abutters here who can, or people in the building who could speak to this, or? Okay. We're gonna review a little bit about voting. You are welcome to submit questions in the chat while we are reviewing that. It has been a little while since we had an opportunity to vote. If you are present this evening, and you have been present at any meeting in the past 3 months, or you are a direct abutter, you are eligible to vote. Voting is
monthly meeting, Margaret.
Monthly meeting, pardon me. Thank you for clarifying. As I said, it's been a little while since we did this. You will receive a ballot through your email. It will be the email address that you use to register for this meeting. You will receive it sometime voting will be open for 48 hours. Our goal is to have it out by Wednesday, but it has been a little bit since we've done it, so it may take us a little additional time. Voting will be open for 48 hours. And then after the results are in, we will post them online, and then a letter will be written to the Zoning Board of Appeals, which will include the results of the vote. We will post that both on our on our socials first, but it will also be the result of the vote will also get posted on our Facebook, on our website. I'm going to review it again because we always get questions. You are going to receive an email to the address that you've registered to attend this meeting. Voting will be open for 48 hours. The goal is to have it out by 6 p.m. Wednesday so that we can close things in time for the weekend and it can be posted for people to see over the weekend. If you do not receive a ballot, my first suggestion is to check your spam mail. Because 95% of the time when someone says, I believed I was eligible to vote and I didn't get a ballot, it's in their spam mail. So check your spam mail first and then email us directly at board@jeffreyspoint.org. And we are happy to clarify if you're either eligible to vote or if you should have a ballot resent to you. And I'm going to check. Andrew, do we have anything in the chat?
Nope.
Okay.
Thank you, Margaret, Andrew, Tyler. I really appreciate your time and attention to this proposal on behalf of Mr. Greenberg.
Okay.
Thanks, Richard. Richard, I'll be in touch with you guys tomorrow about some stuff. Thanks.
And then quick reminder that the project slides are posted on our website, www.jeffreyspoint.org. And you are welcome to review them at any time. Next up, I see that Lydia Edwards is here, but we are running a teeny bit behind. So we had skipped over Rita Laura with Maverick Landing Community Services, but I see that she has joined us, that her training ended. So Rita, we were hoping that you could present to us and tell us a little bit more about Maverick Landing Community Services, how you interact with the Jeffreys Point community, and if there are ways that we could continue to interact with you. Rita, please feel free to turn on your screen and take yourself off mute if you would like.
Hi. Thank you so much, Margaret. And thank you so much for the opportunity to share a little bit about the organization. I didn't bring slides. I just thought I would share a little bit. How much time do I have? A few minutes?
Hopefully
you're running late.
Under
right?
10.
5?
Yeah, we'd like
Under
to have
10.
solid
Okay.
20 for Lydia. But if you take less than that, we won't hold it against
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm happy to take less.
Do you need
So
to turn your screen on? I don't see you. I'm just checking.
oh, I just did. Can you see me now? Oh, oh no.
I can't see you. I don't know if other people can.
Can you see me now?
I don't want to hold you up, but I didn't know if you had meant to turn on your
Yeah,
screen.
it was on, but I think something happened and now it's not on. I'm not sure why. So sorry that you can't see me. So I'm the executive director of Maverick Landing Community Services. And we're located in the heart of inside of the Maverick Landing housing development in nearby Maverick Square. Where I believe the only sort of walk-in community center where anyone who's has a need for one of the services that we offer or is having any kind of issues around housing, food insecurity, issues with access to social benefits programs, can walk in and expect to either speak to someone or make an appointment and get help. So our case management services really run the gamut, given that we're a walk-in center. People come in for a number of reasons, access to SNAP, access to WIC. They'll come in because they need help, writing, understanding letters that they've received about their, personal business. Pretty much anything can kind of bring them in. We serve about 3,000 people a year. About 1/3 is housing based. And right now we're serving and supporting mostly the housing community at Maverick Landing, although we expect to be providing services to Grace Apartments and Lewis Mall in the coming months. and as I mentioned, the other 2/3 of the 3,000 people we serve are just from other parts of East Boston. We're, largely place-based. Beyond the case management services that we offer, we also offer 3 levels of ESOL, adult education: beginner, intermediate, advanced. I believe we're only one of 2 advanced level English as a second language programs in East Boston. One is with us, and the other one is at Harborside. We also provide digital literacy in English and in Spanish, and that's led by young people who've really grown up at Maverick or in East Boston and have sort of come through our STEM youth programming at Maverick. So the STEM programming includes a kids makerspace and a teen makerspace. You might have seen our kids selling things that they've 3D printed or that they made, keychains, coasters, earrings. They used to make these great journals. They would laser cut them and they would outsource them to a co-op of immigrant women sewers. It was a completely locally made product. And, all of these products, the kids learn how to run a business, keep inventory, maintain, production and design. So it's entrepreneurial, very entrepreneurial in nature, but also they're really building visual spatial literacy. And that's really key because visual spatial literacy doesn't really get taught in schools as often. Most schools are numeracy based or literacy based, and visual spatial literacy is really the foundation of the kind of education that lifts up STEM interest. So we've been doing that work over the last 10 years since I got there in late 2015. And I would say, we kind of have seen the first sort of batch of kids who sort of really grew up around these important tools, these advanced technology tools. And now in college, we have a couple, I believe at least 2 or 3 Boston Housing Authority scholars. These are kids who got full scholarships to Northeastern. They're studying things like computer science, engineering. I have one that wants to be a nurse, another a physician's assistant. So the program really works to grow young people into these important industries that they'll be the solution brokers of tomorrow. And what we have to offer the Jeffreys Point community would be, there are definitely lots of great opportunities to come volunteer and be engaged with us. I didn't even actually talk about two important programs that are part of our social services. One is our housing lab. So if someone's struggling with rent, they can come and we will help them with raft assistance so they can get support or other kinds of rental assistance. And the other one is our food program. We have 3 food distributions, distributing about 150,000 pounds a year. One of them is at MLCS on Thursdays. We also support the Humana Harborside School distribution on Wednesdays. And there's a Saturday distribution supported by the Centro de Trabajadores, a workers co-op of domestic cleaners that runs their distribution out of the Paris Street Church on Saturday afternoons. And so what we have to offer would be a place where you can come and definitely, be a part of building solutions with us. We're always looking for volunteers for our food program. We're also always looking for volunteers to come and talk to our kids about important, careers. So career talks. We're also always looking for anyone, who can come and offer any kind of, financial empowerment education, things of that nature. you're more than welcome and to make a gift. It will be well utilized. We really offer an array of programming that's at the intersection of really helping to stabilize families and build really healthy communities. And there's something fun that you can come for too, beyond some of the volunteer ops. Every other Saturday, we've recently this year we launched the East Boston Community Studio. And that really came out of a partnership with the Boston Art Triennial, which opened an art press, NA Press, which it was an exhibit of the Boston Art Triennial. We were one of 15 exhibits throughout the city, and the only one that was this really interactive, collective making, housing-based exhibit. So it was very much alive, more than like a monument. It was active and dynamic. And it was such a rich experience that we decided, and with some funding from some generous funders, decided to open the East Boston Community Studio. So now every other Saturday, from 2 to 6 p.m., you can come to the studio and become engaged in sort of collective art making of different kinds. We will still be doing sort of press-based work and poster making, but we're also bringing in all the other technology, making it available. So the week before last, we were working with the laser. No, the week before last, we were making journals, actually, homemade journals by hand and binding them by hand. And next week will be, so on the 14th, you're more than welcome to come to see what we've got for anytime from 2 to 6. We'll be making picture frames. So it'll be Valentine's Day, so you can come and make a really nice laser cut picture frame. And you could frame something you really enjoy, or a picture of your loved one, and give them a really nice gift. All the materials are provided for free, and it's really open to everyone. You can bring your children, bring yourselves. It's really collective making for all ages. There we go. So, and that's it in a nutshell. I'm also happy to take questions.
And as we were flipping through the website, sorry, I didn't say anything to you, Rita. I just thought this would be helpful. There were several places that you could see that there were buttons to press if you were interested in volunteering.
Yes. If you're interested in volunteering and giving, you can, yeah. And we also have a monthly newsletter. Hopefully soon we'll have a little sign up sheet so you can sign up and stay in touch. I do have a one-page kind of like impact report that I can also send out and make available to people afterwards.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. Can we encourage you to share your contact information? I mean, we showed the website, but if there's, could we put the website in the chat?
Yes.
Okay.
Let me see if I could access the chat. Here we go. So the website,
everybody.
And our Instagram is actually a great way to reach us.
Okay, that is wonderful. And then
so this is the website.
Okay.
It's not letting me chat either. I'm being very limited. I don't know what's going on. Can you put it in for me?
I will
put it in for me.
Absolutely.
It's mlcsboston.org. And our Instagram is mlcs.boston.
Okay. And then
my email is just Rita at MLCS Boston. So if you want the impact report, if you want to sit down and talk to me about what we do, I'm really happy to meet with anyone as well.
Okay. Andrew's going to forward all of those to everyone through the chat. And then board member Aubrey Hartnett has some personal experience with MLCS and wanted to give you a shout out. So go ahead.
Thank you.
Just wanted to say, like, the Juneteenth event is a highlight every year.
Yes. Yes.
We just love engaging with MLCS however we can. So just thank you for everything you do.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I forgot to mention, we are the only annual Juneteenth. This is going to be our 6th year on this side of the tunnel. And we don't do it on Juneteenth because we want our staff to enjoy their day off, but we do celebrate it the week of.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. And this is, we did not invite you on purpose for this reason, but we want to remind people that this is Black History Month, and we hope that everyone will participate and learn as much as they can. And of course, it is also, we hope everyone also has a blessed Ramadan as well. So, Rita, we really appreciate you being here. You are a wonderful part of the fabric that makes East Boston an amazing place to live and, grow families and spend time. And so we really appreciate you taking the time to make us better informed about how amazing Maverick Landing Community Services is and how we can engage with you in the future. So thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
so much, Margaret. I really appreciate the opportunity. And sorry, my tech is failing me today on my fancy phone, which it doesn't seem to be optimizing this platform.
That is okay, Rita. That is okay. We're just glad that you are here. I mean, I know you work crazy.
Thank you.
hours, so I appreciate you making the time.
Thank you.
And now, part of the mission of the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association is to both promote democracy in elections, to engage with our elected officials, and to engage with them to both hold them accountable for what they've done for us in the past and interact with them to better give them direction for what we're hoping to see in the future. We ask all of our elected officials to present to us on an annual basis, and Lydia Edwards wins the Gold Star as the first elected official here this year, and we are thrilled to have her with us. So I would like to introduce State Senator Lydia Edwards, who will, by the way, will be at Cunard Tavern on Wednesday night hosting trivia. If you would like to see her in person, and I will let her take it away to present, and then we will take questions. Please feel free to throw them in the chat while she is presenting. Go ahead, Lydia.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, you're good.
Okay.
All right, we all do
All right.
thumbs up.
Thanks. I didn't hear. Yes, I'm State Senator Lydia Edwards. I'm an East Boston resident, for those of you who don't know. I live on London Street by Kelly's. And I am going to quickly talk about my role right now in the state Senate and also some of the things I've done specifically for Boston, East Boston, and then also things that are on my plate in terms of advocacy work and concerns. And then I'll try and be brief, and I would love, Q&A. So last time I think I spoke here, I was the Senate chair of the Housing Committee. And in that role, I helped to shepherd the housing bond bill, a historic amount of about $5.1 billion to help jumpstart our housing production in the state for the entire state to get to our goal of an additional 200,000 units. And there, part of that was a whole package of policies, and it was great to be part of the conference committee to help finalize that bill. And there's plenty of, I'm happy to go through housing policies that went through that bill that we're very proud of, that we were able to do to help not just Boston, not just East Boston, but the entire state. But this year, or last year in 2025, I was made the vice chair of the Housing and made chair of the Judiciary Committee. The Judiciary Committee is the largest committee in that we have the most bills that come to us. I think we had there's about 6,000 bills filed annually, and almost 1,000 of them come to just the Judiciary Committee. We deal with all matters of crime. If you want to create a crime, if you want to add time to a crime, if you want anything to do with crime, prosecute the crime, defend the crime. We are dealing with civil rights. We deal with immigrants, issues in immigration at the state level, wills, trusts, and estates, all sorts of civil liberties. And judges' salaries, judge appointments, clerks. It's a huge, anything in the courthouse, honestly, and security, and so on and so forth. So it's a huge committee with a lot of bills before it. And so it has been an incredibly busy year with that. It normally is, but just also with dealing with national politics. The push on the local state level to respond to national politics has been quite intense. And as a result, I pushed through several bills. One specifically to deal with federal shutdowns, which we had the longest one in history. And that bill protected federal workers and service members from being evicted or foreclosed on during a shutdown, and also provided some relief for them so that they are protected because many of them were furloughed, required to work, not getting paid, and well, a lot of people, including federal workers and service members, live paycheck to paycheck, and it was extremely painful. That passed. It is now the law, and it's become a model for some other states as well. Recently, I filed a bill to protect our courthouses from immigration ICE arrest. This has been, for the most part, universally welcomed as a tool in the toolbox for due process. Specifically, the prosecutors have had defendants, people they're trying to prosecute for sex crimes, for all sorts of things, be removed by ICE in the middle of the trial. They've had witnesses removed in the middle of trial for a civil issue of immigration. And my bill basically says if you're going to remove somebody or arrest somebody, you need to have a judicial warrant. So it does not prevent the removal, but it does heighten the standard to do it. And that was, we felt, a balanced way to assure that the person was still guaranteed due process. At the same time, if the federal government found it so necessary to remove the person, that they would meet those standards to go do it. And then just locally, excited that last year we had, due to the Fair Share Amendment, the ability to support a lot of our local initiatives. I put in terms of researching for waterfront transportation, $1.5 million for the research and the development and planning for a new dock in East Boston behind the Shaws. $50,000 for our local food pantries between the soup kitchen and also at Grace Lutheran Church and other crossroads and other places as well. We had our third annual Latin Music Festival, where again, we're celebrating a lot of our wonderful culture here, where we dance, support our local vendors, and and listen to great music. And that we intend to do it again this year. And then supporting our schools, I put earmarks for a soccer pitch at both at two of our elementary schools. Specifically, let me make sure I get this right. Making sure I get it. Sorry. Here we go. So we put $25,000 for a new stage and seating for the dual language program at the Mario Umana, $125,000 for a mini soccer pitch at the Guild Elementary School, and $65,000 for a mini soccer pitch at the Adams Elementary School, which we're excited to see the kids use. So yeah, lots to get done. And just for folks' general awareness, I represent all of Winthrop, all of Revere, our two neighboring cities, and then within Boston, the neighborhoods of East Boston, Back Bay, Beacon Hill, the West End, the North End, downtown Crossing area, and the Common and the Public Gardens. So a huge amount kind of downtown central area and East Boston and the two other cities. Questions?
Thank you for being here, Senator Edwards. Thank you for presenting to us. I was just hearing you describe your district. I was just thinking, I know Winthrop's been in the news lately for some of their kind of a transit nerd for some of their MBTA communities. So I'm just thinking you represent a wide, diverse district with a lot of different priorities. So that's going to be an interesting challenge. But given that you live here in Eastie, what's your favorite spot in Jeffries Point? Could be food, could be entertainment related, could be. Do you have a particular favorite? I'm putting you on the spot here, so I apologize. But
Yeah, I know. I don't have favorite spots in my neighborhood.
Okay.
All of
All
my
right. No,
spots are
fair
my
enough. Fair
favorite
enough.
place. That's
Fair,
a
fair enough.
that's
Fair
a
enough.
There's
kind
no
of
Fair
winning
enough.
answering that question.
Yeah,
there's
no,
no
that's
winning.
yeah,
Like, all
that's
right, oh,
that's a loaded question. I apologize. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
that's fair enough. So I,
This was a really wonderful list to hear. Could you talk about a little bit about some of the things you're looking forward to working on?
well, I'm
I
looking
know that's
forward.
very broad. I know that's very broad. So just
Honestly, we are. I'm looking forward to continuing to expand water transportation. There's the unfinished sentence of making it no longer the exception or something special for our neighborhood, but vital to our survival and part of our infrastructure. What does that mean? It should be much easier to pay for it. It should be an easy transition on the Charlie card or whatever the form is to be able to go from the ferry to the bus to the T to commuter rail. And that is a system that needs to be bettered. And the fact that you came in on a boat shouldn't interrupt that. So that's one thing. Also looking at it being year round. There's really, from what I can tell, there's no reason why. I know why Lynn can't do year round because they go out into open ocean and apparently the way the waves are, it's harder for them. But why we can't have year round, or even if we can't have year round, expand per month or every 30 days. It's just got to be seen as part of vital to our system. And even to the point that I want to have another one added in Eagle Hill.
that'd be great. I I think I use it infrequently, personally, only because I don't go on the other side anymore with a ton of frequency. But I walk past there almost every day with my dog. It's always being used, and it's such a great resource, and that's, at least for me, just speaking personally for myself, that's really nice to hear you say that that's a priority of yours, because I think that's such a huge boon to our neighborhood specifically, given the tall ship and everything like that, and just having the ability, when the blue line inevitably goes down, just having that ability to do that, and it's such a on a nice day. I mean, talk about like what a beautiful ride. It's such a cool thing to show off to visitors and stuff like that. It's really really neat. That's great to hear.
um, I do have another question, but before I ask, I want to check with Andrew and see if there's anything in the chat. I want to make sure we address those first.
No questions in the chat.
Okay. So I'd like to ask a slightly sensitive slash controversial question, and I will say that I'm very biased on this about the idea of the fact that we pay more into the federal government than the federal government provides us in terms of economic support, and there have been threats on a federal level to cut what we would receive back. And I'm just wondering if you could speak a little broadly about what some of those threats are and what are some of the things that what we're doing here in Massachusetts to kind of ensure that our quality of life remains at the level that it should be.
That's not a sensitive question or even controversial. It's the practical reality of what we're dealing with. We have a very hostile um, government to Massachusetts, not to every state, but to this one. And so there's a couple things in which we have been, there's the fight back analysis. I'm happy to go through that. There's the policy, creative analysis, happy to go through that. And then there's the fiscal, like what we're doing with the money we have. Okay. So when it comes to the fight back, our attorney general, I mean, that woman is amazing. She's a friend of mine, former Boston City councilor, and she is, well, at the time in November, it was 44 lawsuits. She's sued the federal government 44 times and won 40 of the 44. So what she is doing is continually, we upped her budget, the legislature did. We gave her the resources and said, go for it. And she has taken that to the bank and has sued over and over again, and in many cases either stopped him from freezing, I mean the Trump administration, from freezing funds, or opened up funds. And I want to be clear, this isn't requiring him to give money that the government wasn't going to give. In many cases, there's just a basic contract. We positioned, we won the grant, we got the funding under the Biden administration, and the Trump administration just blocks it. And it's just a matter of this is money that we had rightfully and had won under a grant. You need to release that funds. Whether we get it again because you like us or not is another question. But in as much as we have been awarded, we have the letter, we met the standards, we spent the money to get it, you need to give us the money. And for those many cases, we are winning. So that's a fight back in many cases. A fight back also is, if we look at some policies, we did Roe 2.0 for women's right to choose and gender affirming care. And we have done some incredible policies as a baseline. You are protected here. So that's kind of our policy fight back. And then in terms of our other policy fight back, there's definitely some discussion about how, if any way, there is a possibility to withhold our funds from the federal government. The question is really honestly how many people are paying them through your paychecks, right? You pay your taxes. It's not like everyone pays to the state of Massachusetts and Massachusetts writes a big check to the federal government. So the question is, how would we do that? And in what way you can organize a tax strike? Could that happen? Sure. But it would almost be like everyone agrees that we're not paying on April 15th or by April 15th. So that's, some people got to be willing to go to jail, I guess, or can't put us all in jail, I guess. I don't know, but they might be inclined to put some of us in. So, but that's a question that certainly some constitutional scholars, some fiscal agents are looking at ways in which we can make sure that we withhold our funds. That is on the table. I will say that. And then finally, when it comes to fiscal, we have been exceptionally, because we passed the Fair Share Tax Amendment. I will say that because we passed that is the millionaire's tax, and it has overperformed 200% in some cases where we expected maybe $1 billion, we ended up with $2 billion, and it's continuing to overperform, and it funds our transportation and our education, and we've been able to use that to help pay for infrastructure needs and upgrading the T, but also, free community college, maintaining that, universal school meals for all of our children, expanding at childcare, which is an incredibly needed resource and constantly needed resource. So we have, I would say, been able to keep afloat in many cases because of that decision in 2022, I want to say, to pass the Fair Share Tax Amendment. So I'm on the Ways and Means Committee, and actually I will be finding out how fiscally healthy we are tomorrow, as the Ways Committee will be meeting and getting a pre-budget analysis of where we are. And then I'm sure they'll make an announcement, I think, before the end of the week.
That is excellent. Thank you. I kind of backed off from asking you straight out if there was a possibility that we would be withholding our the tax that we pay to the federal government. So that's why I said controversial, and then I kind of backed off from it. But thank you for going into detail and being willing to answer like straight to what's going on. Appreciate the
Yeah, it's all on the table, honestly, at this point. And it's all on the table, including we're legislation to prevent another state's National Guard from coming into Massachusetts and commandeering. I mean, these are things that we never thought we'd have to think about, but unfortunately, it's what we have to think about. So how are we protecting our National Guard? How are we preventing our soldiers, our transgender soldiers, from being discriminated against? It's literally all constantly a new reality.
We really appreciate you being here. I do want to do a quick chime check because it's 8:32, and we always receive feedback if we run overtime that we should not do that. But I do want to check in with Andrew one more time just to see if we have any questions in the chat. I don't wish to cut anybody off.
Sorry, 1 second. There is. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
Okay.
No, there is one question here. Okay. With talk of water transit and any talk of expanding, changing the ferry route as it just mimics the blue line. I guess that's the question. I guess they're Uh, Sorry, there's a lot going on here. For instance, the red and blue lines are the only two lines that do not connect in the city, making a water route that connects Lewis Wharf towards South Station, maybe Roseworth should be a seamless next step. It would connect the north and north shore of the city to access south shore west of the city.
Hello?
So it sounds like the question is, are there any proposals or consideration to create water routes that do not currently match existing routes? Is that what the short version?
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah. So like Lewis Wharf to North Station or down by South Station, like other stops essentially.
I mean, I'm happy to check into the one new route that we were looking at was the if we were to put something behind Shaw's, it would be connected to Chelsea actually. So Chelsea has a new dock, and so it would be from Admiral's Hill in Chelsea to go behind Eagle Hill in East Boston, and then to go straight into Boston. In terms of the replacement of the red blue connector, or not replacement, I would say supplement. We're still going to go for that, by the way. We're still fighting for and have committed $30 million to the planning for the connection of the red and blue line at MGH and Bowdoin. That is still on the table. But in terms of that waterfront connection between South Station and what was it, Lewis Wharf, our Lewis Wharf? Is that what's it? Yeah. That's a great idea. So happy to look at other ways in which we can expand and be more creative.
There's one other question here. Any thoughts about extending the bike path through Winthrop for bike access from the harbor to the sea?
Absolutely. I think that was one of the components of the Greenway expansion through Suffolk Downs mitigation. All the way actually over through Winthrop, through over the marsh into Short Beach Short Beach, the Winthrop Revere border. So that's the hope.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
That's all in the chat.
Excellent. Senator Edwards, could we ask you to put your contact information in the chat so that we can share that with people? Either your office, your webpage. A reminder that this recording will be available on the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association webpage if you would like to watch it again or gain additional information. And a reminder that the senator will be at Cunard Tavern on Wednesday evening hosting trivia if you would like to contact her individually. The next monthly meeting of the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association will be Monday, March 9th at 7 p.m. on Zoom. Everyone is always welcome. The agenda will be posted in advance on our webpage and will be sent out through our listserv to everyone who has signed up for it previously. A reminder again, I know I've said it before, but people kind of come in and out in terms of paying attention. You will receive the email about the vote for the project, the 7 to 9 Murray Court, later on this week. And again, voting will be open for 48 hours. If you did not receive a link, we ask you to check your spam mail first and then let us know, and we are happy to follow up and ensure that you receive a ballot. As always, the Jeffreys Point Neighborhood Association is here to assist you, and you are welcome to contact us at any time at board@jeffreyspoint.org, and that will forward to all of the members of the board. With that, unless there's anything else in the chat, I'm going to thank everyone for being here this evening. Thank you for not being too hungover from last night's horrible loss. We wish everyone a blessed Ramadan, and thank you again for joining us. And I will declare this meeting closed. Thank you very much.